What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CRWN Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we literally just watched Pulp Fiction. What would you give it out of 10?
Just jump right into it. I mean, this is a classic. This sets the precedent for me as what a good movie looks like.
Why? Because you like the fun dialogue.
I love dialogue. I love dialogue that doesn't really mean anything, but somehow you can wrap it in.
It does kind of mean something, though. You are able to see who these characters are.
Yeah.
Through their just what seems like nothingness.
Right. But they wrap it back into like the personality of each character.
Yeah. That's what I think is cool about it, really, is that each character kind of has their own belief system almost. Like every character is a unique person that you can identify.
Right. So that's why I love Quentin Tarantino movies, because it's like you just know the characters just through how they BS with another character.
Yep.
So yeah, I give this movie a 9.5.
Solid. That's 2 in a row, isn't it?
Is that what I gave Dune 2?
I think so.
That would make sense. I love both movies.
I'm going to give Pulp Fiction a 8.8.
Okay.
Scott?
I give it a 9.
Solid.
I agree with that dialogue statement.
That's what's so cool about it, is that it's like, because the beginning is they're talking about Amsterdam and they're just kind of hanging out and they're being so nonchalant when they're about to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just like Vincent and Jules. They're criminals doing horrible things, but they're so cool about it.
Yeah, they're talking just bullshit conversation about giving their boss's wife a foot massage, which
it's funny.
It's a funny, engaging conversation, I guess, like, because Quentin decides to actually make this such a topic of conversation that is like prolonged. I mean, that's a good like 3-4 minute conversation that they're having. So the audience has no choice but to actually listen to it. Yeah. And come up with an opinion.
And it's entertaining and it's funny.
Yes, but like at the end of the day, like giving the audience, because just like if you're in a movie theater and like you hear them probably talking about like a foot massage or something, I don't know, you might just kind of tone out or just look at somebody and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But then like by 3-4 minutes later, you realize they're still talking about it. They're going to have no choice but to think, well, if I had a wife or a girlfriend and significant other of some sorts, and I found out that they were given a foot massage, would I be mad? Like, you have to have an opinion.
Yeah.
And they do that throughout the movie a lot, which I think is a really cool way of doing it.
Because again, these characters are unique people with their own opinions and personalities, and they have their own thoughts on something. So hear them debate something. They both have differing opinions. You're kind of like, oh yeah.
And it's good with Quentin Tarantino movies because for the most part, especially in a movie like this where it's like bounty hunters, assassins, whatever you want to call Vincent or Jules, like
hitmen.
Yeah, hitmen, like, to be in that position, you kind of have to have, like, not stubborn, but you believe in what you believe. And so that's kind of what they're showing in this scene, I think, is like two hardcore guys. I mean, we know this.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, to be that hardcore, you have to, like, just believe in yourself and everything that you do.
Or you have to at least be comfortable with what you're doing. You might not believe.
No, I mean, they're definitely like sociopaths of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Jules kind of tells himself that it's more religious, or he's doing the work of God, which...
Well, I think he just thinks... He turns and realizes the
yeah, but we'll get to that.
The immortality of or the immoral...
Yeah.
How immoral it is of what he's doing.
But at the end of the day, like, they don't get shook up when they have a gun pointed in their face.
No, because they've been through it.
And so it's the same thing as having an argument with somebody else, is... they can do it all day because they already know what they believe in. Same as having a gun pointed in their face, they're not going to get shook by anything.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're comfortable with the violence. They live and work and breathe the violence.
Mm-hmm.
And the crime and the drugs and the underworld.
The violence to them is pretty much the same as, like, getting into a fender bender with somebody.
Yeah.
That's how they treat it, just going in and having to take out 3 guys in an apartment and eat their burgers.
Yeah.
I mean, that to them is like going to do their boss's laundry.
Yeah, and they kind of set up too because they had that nonchalant conversation before they go and kill the guys that fucked over Marsellus Wallace, and they set it up because you said it's kind of like, what are they even talking about? Why would I even pay attention to it? But because the intro is so like, oh shit, well, you know, the intro is the first scene, opening scene. You know, bank robs, music hits, badass title that lasts on screen for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It like sets it up where it's like, this is going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Because Tarantino's very confident in what's about to play out, that he's like, Pulp Fiction. You're about to watch Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. So
and
that's,
And the music plays out, and then they give you the pulp definition. And so, you know, there's probably some deeper meanings with what he's trying to portray here, some kind of message he has that he's writing to. And so when you hear him talk about a foot massage, you're like, what the hell is it? What does this mean? Like, you're trying to listen intently to see, like, why is he even including this?
Right. But I think he went about it the smart way. Like you said, the first scene is just this couple in a diner.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about it. And then you realize as the conversation's escalating, oh, they rob liquor stores.
And even that conversation is super interesting.
It is. But then it pops off. So then when they go right to the next scene after the intro music, it's 2 guys dressed in matching suits, walking up to an apartment, talking about, oh, we should have had shotguns.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about foot massage. So honestly, yeah, you're probably going to really dial into this conversation if you missed the last one and saw that they immediately start robbing a store. 'Cause it's like, okay, this must be really important to the movie plot, and then it's a foot massage.
Yeah, but that is important later on because it sets up that sexual tension between Vincent and Mia.
So you do realize that.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the conversation, because Vincent tells him, like, I do have to take Mrs. Wallace out.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, shit. So it is important.
Yeah.
But it's just funny, like, the way that they go about it. Like,
yeah, he's just such a great writer. Tarantino's just such a great writer. I feel
like a lot of people would have chosen to make it clear from the jump that Vince was taking their boss's wife out.
Yeah.
And then they start telling the story about the feet.
Right.
But they don't.
Yeah.
It's 2 guys talking about feet, and then even Jules is just like, now what the fuck do you care so much about? Like, and then it's that. So it's a smart way of going about it.
Yeah, and that sexual tension is good too. I remember the first time I watched it. You obviously know the risk involved is he's taking his boss's wife out, and his boss is a crime boss. And everything you've seen of Marsellus and what you've heard about him, you know he's this powerful, dangerous man. And so, you know, like when when Marsellus is talking to Butch, it's very much so it's on Butch, but you hear his voice coming over, like overpowering the scene while Butch is just kind of sitting there alone. Kind of gives Marsellus that mysterious power. And so whenever you go in and he's taking her out, you're like on the edge the whole time. She's like, dude, is he going to fuck up? And she's kind of flirting with him. She's being a little, you know, flirtatious with him. So you feel that like, oh shit, like, is he going to fuck up?
Yeah. More than anything, back to the foot conversation, as that was, you know what that was just right there?
What?
That was my Quentin Tarantino impression.
What?
Because he loves feet.
He does love some feet.
So no matter what it is, I think he always just wants to somehow make it about feet.
Besides Reservoir Dogs, I don't think there's any feet in that.
In Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so besides that one, every single movie I think he has shows feet or talks about feet in some way.
Right.
Every single one, which is just hilarious.
You know, it's known now. It's not even like
he has no shame.
Yeah, it's not even an inside joke. I mean, because I know Brad Pitt made a comment in like his speech for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
What'd he say?
He just made a comment about Quentin's love for feet. Everybody just laughed it off. So it's out there. It is known.
You can't. I mean, it's like so apparent that you're like, dude, yeah, he's big on feet. You think?
That argument, I would guess, is probably just one of many conversations that Quentin Tarantino has had with associates of his.
You think? I'm really worried about finding out that Tarantino was involved with the Weinstein shit because it's probably likely that he was.
Not looking good.
He's involved in Hollywood for a long time. Worked with Harvey Weinstein.
as much as I like movies, I have no doubt that there's probably a lot of actors that we probably enjoy, like their work, that it's seeming that they might be wrapped up in some pretty bad stuff.
You think he makes the actresses send them pictures of their feet to get roles?
Who knows?
It's for casting. It's for casting.
It could be a lot worse than that.
Yeah, definitely could be a lot worse than that.
Yeah. I would like to think that all he does is just, okay, we're just going to get a couple pictures of the feet. Yeah, flex your toes. Okay, that's it. All right, you can go. I would like to think that it's as innocent as that.
What is the obsession with feet? Like, why do some dudes find feet attractive? What is that about?
I don't know. There's just something wired in them as the same as, some guys like boobies.
Yeah,
well,
but
I think all
sense.
guys like boobies.
I was going to say, you want me to look that up?
Maybe. What is that? What does a foot fetish stem from? Like, seriously, what does that stem from, like, psychologically? Why would a guy find feet attractive?
I mean, people just have fetishes. It's just something in their brain.
But it's, like, so common that it's odd. What does it say?
It's due to a sensory input in the brain.
From what?
It's the same thing as being attracted to a girl's behind.
No, it's not.
Or a girl's breast.
That's natural, because that's mating. If she has big boobs or like a big butt, that like big hips show that she can give birth well. Like that's like the animal brain in us. That's why we like a butt. That's why we like boobs, because it shows that they can care for a baby.
The part of the brain that processes the sensation people get from feet is next to the area that perceives genital stimulation.
I know, but why though? Like what?
Similar part of the brain.
But I'm saying though, why would that cause them?
Why are some people psychopaths and some are normal? I mean, there's just, it's just how you're born.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get to your answer.
There's got to be something, but all right, we can move on. Deep diving into foot fetishes.
Yeah.
I think it's cool how they talk about characters before they reveal them.
Yeah.
Like with Mia and with Marsellus.
Yeah. That builds that scene so much. That's why that scene's... Because did you feel this? I remember the first time I watched it, whenever they're sitting at the dinner table, Vincent and Mia, whenever Vincent asked what pilot she was on, she says Fox Force 5. And I remember the first time watching it, because of the sexual tension you kind of feel.
Said fuck 4-5?
Yeah, Fox Force 5.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? Like Fox 4, and you're like, oh. Like and you never hear, because you know what she says, so you never get tricked again. But I remember the first time I watched it, I thought she said Fox Force 5.
Is she not saying Fox 4-5?
Fox Force 5.
No. I get that that's like the name of the movie, but when she first says it, is she not saying the F word first?
No, she says Fox.
Really?
That's what's funny.
That's what I heard today.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, but cause that's a sign of brilliant writing. Despite her not saying that word, you infer that word the first time. Yeah, let's play the scene.
I heard you did a pilot.
That was my 15 minutes.
What was it?
It was a show about a team of female secret agents called Fox Force 5.
What?
Fox Force 5.
What?
Fox, as in we're a bunch of Fox.
She is saying Fox the first time, though.
Yeah, but it very much sounds like fucks.
It's good. I mean, it got me tonight.
Wow.
Because, I mean, I'll go like probably 2 or 3 years without watching this movie.
And you wear that hat?
I still like the movie. There's a lot of movies, but it's just, that is a good play on words.
Fox Force 5.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What else? Oh, I know. The big thing, one of the great things that I love about this movie, and I think it's pretty much talked about by Jules, is divine intervention. And I think that's like kind of what this movie is all about. Is because essentially it's all just a movie about like coincidences. Just a lot of things that just happen that somebody in the writer's room was like, well, what if this happened? So you think in the original, like the divine intervention scene is when Jules gets shot at like 5 times by like a big revolver, and none of them hit him. And he even looks directly behind him.
Yeah.
And there's just like 3, there's 5 bullets, but there's 3 directly behind him as if they should have gone through him. So that's like the first one. And then the second one that comes to mind is when what's Bruce Willis's character? Butch. He goes back to his apartment to get his watch or his dad's watch.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens that the guy that's looking to kill him just had to take a huge shit.
Right. Well, it's interesting because
that's divine intervention in a sense. Like,
and
why would he not take that to the bathroom with him?
Yeah. And the two characters that took a moral high road survived.
Right.
Vincent was the one that said, forget God, you're crazy, that was nothing.
So he
just
dies
luck,
the next day.
and he dies.
Yeah.
And then Marsellus Wallace gets raped when he's the one in control of all this crime and you know, brutality. Not Vincent. Jules is the one that realizes the divine intervention that happened, or he believes it, and he goes on to walk and kind of escapes the restaurant when he could have died there.
Yeah.
Saves himself.
So there's that. And then obviously I think one of the biggest coincidences is that Butch has just killed Vincent, gets his car back, and is just driving. He thinks he's in the clear.
Yeah.
And then who is walking by from just getting donuts?
Mm-hmm.
Marsellus Wallace.
Yep.
One could say that is some kind of divine intervention. It's really just a coincidence.
Right.
But I think it just kind of adds this funniness to the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, in reality, that could happen. Like, this is just one big neighborhood. Like, they're obviously... And Marsellus Wallace is probably, like, on the lookout for him. So it's no wonder that he's, like, down the road from Butch's apartment. Because he is. I mean, I think it was, like, 2 turns. And he's, you know, crossing the street. He's probably going to, like, where he thought Butch would be going to next.
Well, I think he was just chilling because he had a box of bagels or donuts or muffins and a coffee.
Yeah, but he's in Butch's area.
Yeah, but I think just Marsellus just owns L.A.
Right, but
you know?
like if you watch, like he gets in his car in his apartment and he goes like a minute down the street.
Yeah,
and then it's Marsellus Wallace. So
yeah,
like he's in his area. I think that's kind of
Butch is just a dumbass and forgot that Marsellus lives right there next to him.
Yeah. So there's that.
Because Butch gets the moral high ground of him going back and saving Marsellus when he could just leave him.
Which I was thinking, I was like, you know, would I do that? And honestly, I think I would.
It's hard not to. You'd have that voice in the back of your head that's telling you.
Especially when you think of the Gimp. Because I remember the first time I watched this movie, the Gimp scared the shit out of me because of the unknown about the Gimp.
Yeah, lives in a cage, but he's also excited.
Right, but like he's definitely just brainwashed. But you wonder, how long has he just been living in that cage?
It's got to be a long time for
Like
you to then start to just kind of
years.
accept your reality and then be excited about your reality.
So like, what, 10 years? 10 years is, I mean, a month already just scares the shit out of me. Like, please just put a bullet in my head. But like, what if he's been in that cage for like 10 years, 20 years? So I just remember like the first time I watched that, like I just, you know, obviously it's not like a scary movie at all.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking like,
it's just dark.
that would be like a big fear of mine, to be like a fucking pet.
Dude. I feel like you would be able to escape. If that was your reality, you would figure some way out to you either die or escape.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to just bow down and be like, yeah, okay, I'll be the Gimp.
I know.
You're like, no, I'm fighting every fucking inch of my life to get out of this situation.
But then, did y'all ever see Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Y'all remember
Yeah.
Tyrion Lannister just keeps that guy, or no,
yeah.
the bald guy, the one that didn't have his nuts.
Yeah. Well,
I forget
the
what
names.
it's called.
It wasn't a Lannister though.
No, it wasn't a Lannister, but he was showing Tyrion Lannister like what revenge looks like, and he went and found the guy that cut his balls off, and he's just been keeping him in a box and doing whatever he wants to him, but like keeping him alive.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same feeling for me with the Gimp. Like, obviously this is like their little toy doing God knows what they want to him.
So evil.
It's evil when you really think about it. So I say that to say that if I was in Butch's shoes, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And like these two guys, like these are the evil people.
Yeah.
That are like on the underlying surface of the world.
Yeah, it's kind of cool in that
So it's
scene.
like, go fucking, like, you got to kill these guys.
And it's cool when he goes to go kill those guys, right? Butch has pride. That's the biggest thing they talk about with Butch's character, is that he has pride in himself. He has pride in his family. He has pride in his family heirloom. Like he respects that because as a kid, he was instilled that this little pocket watch was traveled through wars and in dudes' asses to come be in his possession. So he's like, holy shit, as a kid, you're not really thinking that clearly, and the story's not funny to him. But he goes, and the one weapon he grabs is a samurai sword because he's about to do something honorable. He's going to go and do the right thing, take the moral high ground to go save the person that's trying to kill him because he knows it's right. Yep. And he uses a samurai sword, like an honorable weapon. Yep. Back at like samurais in Japan.
He looked at the hammer, he looked at the baseball bat, he looked at the chainsaw, but nope.
The samurai sword is way more badass.
Way more badass. And
also a sign of honor, which is just kind of a cool little, weapon of choice to ride in.
There's so many weird little coincidences, but I think that pretty much covers like the biggest ones.
Yeah. My favorite. I mean, I think the biggest thing this movie does great is just again its characters. And there was I keep saying this, but the how he writes them all as like individuals. They all have like their own personalities. And there's one scene and one, like, again, a very, very small detail. This is what Tarantino does well, is he has like these little bitty details sometimes with these characters. So like Jules, when he was in the car, he's talking to Vincent about the McDonald's. And I think Vincent tells him that you can buy beer in McDonald's. He like looks at him. He's like, what? You can buy beer in McDonald's? That was like the biggest thing that he like reacted to. Yeah. And then when he gets to the bar to talk to Marsellus, whenever Butch is talking to Marsellus, he sits down. The bartender doesn't ask them what they want. He gives Vincent a coffee because he knows he always wants a coffee, and he gives Jules a beer because we know Jules likes beer. Yeah. It's just such a little bitty small detail, but he keeps these characters so consistent, and that he's thought out these personalities and who these people are to the detail of like what beverage do they like to drink. Jules likes beer. He reacts to the beer. He gets a beer. That means nothing really, but it just shows how much he thinks about these characters. Yeah.
During that part, I was like, oh, like Vincent just doesn't drink. That's kind of what you think the first time, and then you find out he just does heroin all the time.
Yeah. He's constantly needing a pick me up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would assume.
Well, I just kind of thought he was sober.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
but I wonder like if you're, because he does drink. Because, I mean, he does have, like, a whiskey need when he gets to Mia Wallace's house. Mm-hmm. But I would just think that, like, if all you do is heroin and, like, you're not high on heroin, you're probably just tired. Like, you're going to need, like, coffee to, like, keep you up.
Yeah. Because is there, like, a after hangover with heroin?
I don't know.
Can you look that up?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's been probably, I want to say, like, 3 podcasts closely in a row to where we've looked up stuff about drugs. Help is available.
Help is available, yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's called dope sickness.
Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine how shitty Mia Wallace feels after overdosing.
Oh. Yeah, that's like a... Oh, man, I remember she said she, like, takes an Amsterdam trip once a year to just chill out for a month. I think that's what that kind of
100%. She needs like, that.
Go to Amsterdam, go do some fasting, clean out that system.
That scene, the whole point of that scene is Vincent to be safe. He's going to take her on a date, just laugh at her jokes like he says, give her a good time, and then he's going to leave.
And he did a great job.
Until. It's because you're trying to give her a date to where it's just like an honest date, and that's all that happens, where there's no secrets you have to keep. You don't cause her to cheat with you. But in the end, you have to keep a huge secret where she literally overdosed on the heroin that you had. Yeah. That Marsellus would probably be, I don't know if he'd be more upset, but it's probably equally upset. Yeah. Cheating Vincent, and the guy that took out your wife made her overdose.
Yeah.
That's
like I remember
as bad,
she looks at Vincent, she's like, trust me, like I would be in as much trouble as you. And he just looks at her and he's like, I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
Like, you keep your head.
Yeah.
I am somewhere in the dirt.
Speaking of head, you see, what's the guy that gets his head blown off's name? Someone with an M. You see his.
Damn Damn it. I always try to remember his name.
Marvin.
Marvin.
I was going to say Marcus, so I knew that wasn't right.
R.I.P. Marvin.
You see his head in the trunk.
Oh, do they show it?
Yeah, like no, he like his head's there. Like his eyes are kind of fucked up, but he's laying there with his head intact. Like I thought Marvin got his head blown off and his brain scattered everywhere.
There's just inconsistencies. Damn it,
Which
Quentin.
is odd. Like you think you'd want to see a headless body because they literally blew his head up. Yeah.
The head's off.
Oh, they blew his neck off?
Neck and head.
Yeah, or like
Jesus
they literally
Christ.
blew head off. Head off.
Yeah, I guess. But they do talk about the brains and the hair, right? Don't they?
Yeah.
Just a movie, man.
It's just a movie, bro.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny that you see his head. I don't know why they would do that. Headless bodies, what they should say.
Especially when how careful they're obviously being. Making Jules drink beer.
Yeah.
Damn it, Quentin.
And they know...
My score just dropped significantly.
Damn, I just ruined the movie. Whenever they shoot his head off, it's so nonchalant again. Because, again, they're so used to the violence that they kill somebody and it's like a minor inconvenience. Oh, fuck, I shot his head off.
Yeah.
Like, damn it.
Like they accidentally missed their turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to that violence. And it's, and again, going back to the divine intervention and the kind of the morality of it, Vincent's the one that does it, and Vincent's the one that seems to not care enough to be careful with his gun pointed at somebody's head. You know what I mean? Again, he's the one that has the, he's one of the few characters that dies.
Yeah. One thing that I've always, I guess, been interested with Quentin Tarantino, because like he is like a well-respected director by pretty much like everybody that appreciates movies.
Yeah.
White people, black people, Hispanic people, but like he does like just use the N-word like just so, I don't even want to say nonchalantly, but like he does plug that in with characters where it was like, there really wasn't any need for him to be racist.
I wonder if it's going back to the point of Scorsese using a lot of racial slurs. It's because he's showing these people aren't good people and they would use these horrible words.
Yeah.
To show that, hey, by the way, these are not good people.
Well,
listen to how they talk.
You do have to think about, so they blow Marvin's head off, and then Jules just happens to have a buddy like down the road from him.
Yeah.
And he seems like a nice, normal guy whose wife's like coming from the graveyard shift at the hospital. But the fact of the matter is, if he's friends with Jules, he can't be that good of a guy. He can't just be casual friends with somebody.
He's some type of criminal.
Yeah. Maybe not even. Yeah. I mean, one could assume criminal, but like, he's not a good guy by any means. Because that's a pretty nice house they live in.
Yeah.
For her just working at a hospital.
But he also...
he's not at work. It's about to be like 8 a.m. and he's just... I guess you wouldn't have to be at work yet, but like...
Still.
He's not saying, get the fuck out of my house with this dead body like we would be.
Right. Like shocked. What the fuck?
He's saying, you better figure this out.
Yeah.
But
also... This could have just been a thing that they were saying, but he said, Uncle Marsellus, your Uncle Marsellus.
No, he's just saying that as in, like, don't worry. Like, you'll be taken care of, like, for your cooperation here. Like, this is a big deal. Like, I'm the wolf.
Yeah, but it is interesting that Tarantino writes the N-word to a character that he plays himself.
Yeah.
For no really good reason.
Maybe it's just a way to, like, make the actors feel more comfortable, but I don't really understand like what the mindset of that would be. And like, don't worry, Samuel Jackson, I'm gonna be saying it right to you.
But and his character is married to a black lady,
so maybe he thinks there's some kind of past there.
I wonder what Tarantino's like actual thoughts are when he writes these scripts like this, because he grew up
going to black theaters.
Yeah, he went to go to black theaters. His mother dated a lot of black dudes, so he's clearly not a racist person. But yet he still always chooses to write the hard R.
Yeah, and it's not just this movie. I remember it said in Reservoir Dogs. I remember there's a character that says it in True Romance. It's Dennis Hopman's character. Dennis Hopkins.
I don't know.
No, Dennis Hopkins. Oh my God. Is it Dennis Hopman?
We have to get this right.
Dennis Hopper. Okay. Holy shit. Dennis Hopper's character. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
He just like has a whole story where he's just saying the N-word to these guys, and he knows the more that he says it to them, they're gonna kill him. They're Sicilians, but it's weird. It was like, why?
Yeah, I wonder if that's just his signal to let us know these aren't good people. Because look at the language they're using.
Yeah,
so casually.
I would assume so. Now, when you go and you look at a movie like Django, that's completely different.
100%.
That is just going for how realistic,
historical accuracy,
right? Just how bad like people were.
Yeah,
because especially in Django, like you're not just dealing with like. Because okay, so I was reading this Abraham Lincoln book about like how he went about like
killing vampires.
No, maneuvering like through the Civil War, because the country is literally divided, and there was at one point like there were a decent amount of slave owners who, as wrong as slavery was, they weren't like treating the slaves bad per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like they took care of them, put them in houses, but it's still
they're just using that free labor
it's,
still.
Right, but it's fucked up. But they weren't necessarily like monsters. Now,
like Calvin Candy.
Right. But then you also think, well, fuck that. Like there's definitely going to be some like evil people.
Yeah.
That's what he's showing. He's like highlighting what the evil people look like.
Yep.
It makes sense that it broke the record.
Well, Dr. Schultz, Django's his slave and he uses him to bounty hunt. He's like, well, since I have you now, I'm going to use you to my advantage, but after this, I'll let you be free. So he's even kind of tiptoeing the moral line between it because it's just such a normal thing back then.
He just like sets a wager, but in reality, it's like, listen, like he can't run away because I can technically call the police, and I will.
Yeah.
He'd say it so nice like that too. But it is
because I think this is the first time in history where pretty globally slavery is looked down upon and is realized to be not morally okay.
Yeah,
like it's. If you look back through the history books, slavery is very prevalent throughout like all time, which is great. Like that, I remember somebody was talking about it. That's a huge moral barrier that we broke through of like getting people to understand that slavery is not okay because everybody just assumed it was like that's just what you do.
Yeah,
which is just insane. Just enslave different people.
Yeah,
but all right. Anyway,
well, and just understand that like Quentin Tarantino, he is not. I mean, it's not like universally accepted. Like I remember I saw there's like this interview. I think we've talked about this before, but not on the podcast, or maybe we even have. But there's a video of like Cat Williams being found like kind of stumbling outside of a bar, and he's pretty drunk. You can tell by the way he's slurring his words, but he's like calling out Quentin Tarantino about Django. He was like, I don't know who the fuck gave him permission to use the N-word a record-breaking amount of times, but it sure as hell wasn't me or any of my people. And he was like, it's Samuel Jackson, Jamie Foxx, like, y'all aren't safe. Like, he can't hide behind y'all forever. Like, he was saying some shit like that. So it's not like, it's just accepted. Like, there are people that don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's not that appealing of a stat. Like, you literally broke a record with the amount of N-words in your movie, and you're a white dude. You're like, kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, did you really have to break the record?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you could have had it in there a few times for the historical accuracy, but you had to break the record, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of valid.
So you could, one could take that side. It was like, you know what? I guess like, I mean, like, did he go into it with the intention of breaking the record? Like, do you think he
was on his goal?
Do you think he like looked it up? He was like, holy shit, I could break that in the first hour and a half.
I'm only 10 short. I can fix that. That's hilarious.
It just makes you wonder, especially because of a movie like this. Quentin Tarantino, the character that he plays, did not have to say what he said.
Multiple times.
It's
just so funny. It's just so funny.
It is funny to think about.
It's almost like world building.
Yeah.
How so? What do you mean?
Just like this is a world where these guys say it a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
Again, but maybe, I mean, we don't really hang around or know a bunch of criminals like that are like actual hitmen, like fucking real criminals.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they talk. I mean,
maybe.
Because, I mean, Marty writes in some N-words every once in a while.
He does. And it's usually about some gangsters. And these guys are in some type of underground.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I guess
you
it
could be
is
right.
just. I think it truly he writes them in because these type of shitty people who do not have any moral compass,
Yeah.
any good moral compass,
Think about,
would use these horrible words.
Yeah, and then you think about like the rapey, the two rapists. They say it to Marsellus.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He says, "Step away from the naysayer."
Flip on by.
Yeah. So I guess it is world building. Like none of these people in the movie are good, except my man Butch. I'm a big Butch guy.
Who? Yeah.
That's Bruce Willis.
Yeah, because he didn't mean he did kill somebody, but he didn't mean, or he did kill two people, but
Right.
he didn't mean to kill. Well, he did kill more than two people.
Yes, but like when he kills the guy originally in the boxing ring, he does say like, "I'm sorry about that, Floyd," or whatever the guy's name was. But he was like, at the end of the day, I don't feel that bad for him because this can just happen in the sport. Like him finding out in the taxi that he killed the guy just goes to show he didn't mean to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
He just wanted to knock his ass out because he was pissed that he was about to throw it. But I think another thing that makes me a fan of Butch, because it's like showing how good of a person he is, or like, how respectful he is like whenever he finds out that his girlfriend, wife, whatever he's got going on there.
I think that's his girlfriend.
His girlfriend, but like
They're pretty
in
solid.
love. He finds out that she forgets the watch, so he flips the fuck out, like throws the suitcase. He's like, "How could you forget it? How could you forget it?" And then obviously she's scared. He's a big dude. She's little.
Killed a man with his
He's killed
fists.
a man with his bare hands, like not even bare hands, like boxing gloves, and you still kill a man.
Padded gloves.
That
killed
is
a man.
insane punch. This guy is obviously dangerous and he's angry. So she's like hiding in the corner, crying. And then he like sits down and really thinks about it. And he's like, "You know what? Honestly, it really isn't your fault. I should have told you that the watch is the utmost important."
Yeah. And so
He's like, I should have told you that was the first thing you grab.
yeah. That you saying that made me think about again the characters he builds, that Tarantino builds.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell that Butch probably has a past of anger and just like probably some trauma where he's just like has been a criminal because he's working with Marsellus. Being a boxer,
Being a boxer, yeah, I'm sure like you've been put in plenty of shady situations.
Yeah, so he's probably done some type of crime and he probably has this like anger problem, but he's been planning to escape the crime world with his girlfriend, and you can see now he's kind of changed himself to where he kind of has grown from it, to where he's like realizing, I just flipped out. I'm sorry.
One thing you could say, going back to like him being a criminal, maybe not, but remember Marsellus Wallace is telling him in the beginning, if you were going to make it big, you would have made it. So what if Bruce Willis's character Butch, what if he's getting mad because he's already taken the money and for doing what he's being asked to do again, like take the money to go down, and
Saying he's done it before.
Right. So like maybe that's the reason that he never even made it big was because he took too many downs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, maybe he wasn't a criminal because he is a boxer, and yeah, Marsellus is telling him like he's giving him like a saving grace out of his career. It's like, hey, you don't make any money because you suck.
yeah. But what if one of the reasons for that is because in the past, Butch has like gone down like 2 or 3 times, like in big fights,
Maybe.
It's just something to think about. But then you also say like, oh, he's like angry. He's kind of on edge. He knows that he just pissed off like the biggest underground king in LA,
Yeah.
and that this guy's going to kill him. So it's like, how could you forget the most important thing to me? But then he apologizes and he's like, I should have told you. I should have just told you the whole story behind that watch. So then you would have understood how important the watch was to me.
Which is funny because that scene comes in out of nowhere, and you're like, "What was that story?" And it's like so it's kind of a silly story, and then flip back to Butch, and that story meant so much to him.
Yeah,
that story meant the world.
But then and I said this during the movie. I was like, if it was so important, like you would keep that on you, like to go to a fight. Like you would, you'd keep that in the gym bag, probably like kiss it for good luck or do something.
Yeah.
Like say a prayer while like rubbing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like just one of those like athlete superstitions where like you keep your father's watch. That was his father's and his father's that went through 2 world wars and Vietnam. you hold on to the fucking watch.
Yep.
So, but yeah, great movie. Great movie.
Who's your favorite character?
Butch.
Butch?
I
like Vincent.
Vincent is funny because he's just very nonchalant. Like my favorite Vincent moment is when he comes out of the bathroom and he sees Butch with his submachine gun.
Yeah.
And he's just...
When he's dead?
No, not when he's
Oh.
dead. He's just like kind of standing just... He's just like, okay.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
I mean, I would just be thinking, why would I not bring the gun with me? Just in case. But then I'm also thinking, Vincent's probably thinking, there's no fucking way this guy comes back to his apartment.
Right.
You know, he probably goes through his closet, sees that like he's packed up some stuff. You know, there's like kind of that mess of like the whole, oh, somebody's been here, they've packed. You know, he's thinking, what kind of a dumbass would this guy be to actually show up to the one place we have somebody here?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, I got to take a shit. I'm just going to go read my book.
Yeah.
Just, you know. So I guess I can kind of give him a pass there.
I like Vincent because he's funny, and I think John Travolta does such a great job playing him. Like, stellar acting required to look like you are just high out of your fucking mind.
It's
like
pretty
he plays
impressive.
it very well. Like literally, can't even tell he's acting.
Yeah, I just think
It's
like
hilarious.
while he's like walking through the restaurant
Yeah,
and he's just so far behind Miss Wallace,
yeah,
and then he even passes where they're sitting
Yeah,
because he's just so high, like
the just how much time he takes to take off his shoes while he's on stage in front of everybody while they're waiting for them to dance
he
to play
doesn't give
music.
it. He
He's
doesn't
like,
give a damn.
he like crouches down.
Yeah.
He like places his next shoe down, takes his other shoe off, crouches down, puts it down. When he's walking through the house, he's like just kind of like just lost, just
Yeah.
roaming.
I love just like the one little line that he says, because he keeps eyeing the Marilyn Monroe waitress
Yeah,
as they're like going through the restaurant. Like he looks at they make eye contact, and they sit down. He keeps looking at her. He sees like her dress come up, all
yeah.
this,
Yeah,
and like once the food like comes out, she's like, don't you just love when you come back from the bathroom and your food's waiting for you? He's like, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't give a fuck. I mean, like, our waiter, he's really not doing his job. We probably should have sat over in her section.
yeah, yeah,
Just, you know, he's a funny guy.
yeah. Who's your favorite character, Scott?
I will say I love how they make how he makes all the main characters like super cool in their own way.
Yeah, because like you can actually pick everybody can have a different favorite character and it's valid. There's not a clear favorite character.
Yeah, like everyone does something to be really cool. But I'll say Marsellus, just to say a different one.
Nice. What? Because he's just so powerful, just mysterious.
Yeah, just see like the back of his head.
Got a little
got a
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I think they just added that too, just for a little bit of.
I looked it up. Apparently, the actor has like a scar there, so the
Oh.
makeup artist was just like, "Bink."
That makes it pretty cool.
Yeah, adds a little interest.
Like, instead of just putting makeup over the scar, let's just put this random Band-Aid there.
Yeah, I like Marsellus.
Marsellus is cool.
Too bad he gets fucked in the ass.
That is unfortunate for Marsellus. That is tough, considering I don't think he liked it. In fact, he said, I'm gonna get medieval on his ass.
Yeah, dude.
And then I love that Jules, the not psychopath, but like, to be in this business, I think you do have to be a sociopath of some sorts. I love that he has just fully turned around. He's just going to go be a shepherd, and he is dead serious. Now, will he do that for the rest of his life? Lord knows. But he is committed. I don't think there's a lot of bounty hunters that have had that kind of godly experience.
Yeah, I mean, you're the man that's responsible for taking many people's lives just because some guy told you to.
Yep.
You have no connection to them.
Yeah, that's like the worst type of killing.
But you could probably justify it in your mind if you were a killer by just saying you're killing other bad people.
That's true.
You know, everybody's in the
Sure.
criminal world. As long as you're not killing just innocent people that haven't done anything wrong, you know, you could probably say, well, this kid screwed him over and took his money. So, you know, I got to, you know, this is his punishment. He signed up for this.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you could rationalize it in your mind if you're a killer.
I love that how detailed this movie is. You have no idea what the guy in the apartment that they kill that's eating the big kahuna. You have no idea what business he has gotten into with Marsellus. But he does have the briefcase filled with, you know, pretty much the treasure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's always going to wonder what's in that briefcase.
Yeah, it's cool because there's a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of different moving parts because it's 3 different stories or 4 different stories compiled together.
Yeah, but as many details as this movie has, you have no idea what they did together.
Yeah, he excludes. He only gives you what you need to know.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to fill you in on the information.
So you
Doesn't
don't need
fucking
to,
matter.
you don't really need to know that, but it's just like he could have somehow like done that, but he was just like,
It'd probably take your interest out of it because you're like listening and you don't really care about what they did.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't build anywhere else in the movie. They only give you what you need to know to help fulfill the story.
right, but they also seem like they're kind of just normal guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're eating big kahunas. They're chilling on the apartment. One guy's eating a burger like on his couch, like in his boxers.
If you know they were coming over, how are you laying down on the couch?
I had no idea.
I think
obviously.
they did. They were waiting for him.
Were they?
Because they had an appointment.
That's right. Yeah, because
Maybe they didn't know what it was. 'Cause they were-
Yeah, because they didn't knock.
They did. They didn't. I thought they did.
I don't think so.
Did they knock at the door or did they just open it?
I thought they just opened the door
You
with
remember?
Jules and Vincent when they walk into the apartment.
I think they knocked because the guy opens the door.
Okay.
Because they were about to go in. They said, "Oh, it's not time yet.
Okay.
Give it a few minutes." And then they said, "Do you know who we are?" They're like, "Yeah." They kind of knew who they were, so maybe it was like a mysterious appointment set up.
Yeah.
You know, because if they knew they were there to get killed, they probably wouldn't open the door. Then they had a guy with a gun ready for him too.
I think that guy just happened to like be in the bathroom.
No, he was there waiting for him because he's like. But again, yeah,
They had
why
already
did that-
shot. They'd already shot. Well, the one guy on the
Right.
couch.
Okay.
They shoot him, so
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he's like, "Oh shit, gun in the bathroom."
Okay, maybe so. Maybe so.
Vincent
maybe
could have
so.
learned something from that little party trick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I give this movie a 9.5. I really don't even know how many times I've watched this movie at this point.
I think it's maybe my 3rd time.
Been a lot more for me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of those movies where I can just kind of throw it on.
I watched it later in life. It's one of those movies where like I procrastinated to watch it because I wanted to watch it full focus because I know it's critically acclaimed. I know it's like a classic that everybody loves and it's one of the, you know, best movies of all time. So I'd always like The Godfather or something that I haven't watched. Like I watched not very recently, but within like the last probably 2 years, I've watched it for the first time. Nah, maybe later than that, but still, it was a little bit later in my life because I didn't want to rush it. I wanted to like actually sit down and be ready to watch it and witness the greatness and understand why this is one of the best movies. So Pulp Fiction was one of the ones that I kind of procrastinated on watching.
I really can't remember the first time I watched this movie. I think I was like in 8th grade, maybe high school. I remember the reason I watched it though was because Wiz Khalifa tweeted out that this was one of his favorite movies. I really
Looked up to Wiz Khalifa.
I really liked Wiz Khalifa at the time. He seemed like a kick-ass dude. I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch this. And then it was weird. It was like after I watched it, I realized how popular it was.
It's so unique too.
Yeah. Because I think I saw Reservoir Dogs before I saw Pulp Fiction.
Mm.
I think it was just like just a random movie because like I'll just do that. I'll just like throw on a random movie. And I think when I decided to watch it, I saw that it all took place like in one setting.
Yeah.
They like put that in the summary at the time. I was like, oh, that's, you know, this is probably going to be cool because like who has the balls to do that?
Yeah.
And then I remember watching, I was like, that was kick ass.
Successfully intertwining 3 different stories to make all sense and to like conflict with each other.
Yeah.
It's so unique. There's not many other movies that are like this, where it's 3 different stories.
Well, and then having the balls to like kind of go about it like in the timing. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, he did the same thing. where the timing was always a little bit different. You couldn't
Yeah.
tell like when what was happening
Yeah.
exactly.
What
but it's
a
still-
second movie to come out with.
Right? Yeah. Like that's.
Number 2, Pulp Fiction, like a crazy hit.
But you really can figure out like what the timeline is.
Yeah.
So, which is nice. Like you're really not that confused.
Yeah, because this costume design does really well at helping you figure out where they're at because they're so different. Like the clothes are a big standout, so you like easily recognize, oh, they're back in this point because they would never wear those clothes again.
Yeah.
You know, just creatively getting you to be able to follow along really easily.
That's why it's funny that Vincent and Jules, like going into the bar, they have killed the people in the apartment, accidentally shoot Marvin, clean that up, go and just get some breakfast at a diner, and then that gets robbed, and then they make it to the bar, and Marsellus doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, that's
Like
the end.
you got the case or what? 'Cause
Yeah.
if you don't, you're dead.
Yeah, the beginning of the movie is the end of their story.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yep, that's when he retires.
So, great movie.
Great movie,
I will watch this probably a few more times in my life.
100%.
Yeah.
We got a long life ahead of us.
Yep.
Got a lot of times to watch it. Yep. Yeah, no, it's great. This is prime example of why Tarantino is one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Who is your favorite, Scott? Who's your favorite filmmaker?
Tarantino's one of them. Nolan, Terrence Malick,
Who's Terrence Malick? What has he made?
The Tree of Life, Days of Heaven.
Damn, I haven't seen a single one. Have you seen those?
They're kind of like super artsy
Oh,
movies. I don't know if y'all are into that.
maybe. It's good.
They are really good.
Yep, Pulp Fiction, 9. What I give it? 8.8?
Mm-hmm.
9.5. Scott gave it a solid 9. Yeah, I don't think I've seen... What else?
The New World. It's about like Pocahontas. Thin Red Line.
I'll watch one of these movies, Scott.
Please.
I bet
do.
I'll like it.
You should.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words, Gray?
I'd love to quote Jules' Bible verse right now, but I guess I haven't seen that. I guess I haven't seen the movie that many times yet.
They put that... Did you notice they put that on the Endgame or one of the Avenger movies whenever Samuel L. Jackson died, air quote died? Ezekiel 25:17 was on his tombstone.
Did they really?
As
That's hilarious.
what's his name? What's the Samuel Jackson's name in the Avengers? Fury. Nick Fury. Nick Fury's tombstone has Ezekiel 25:17.
Ezekiel 25:17.
You have to say it with passion.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Do, 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 do.
Well, safe to say Samuel L. Jackson does it better. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week. We are out.
I've been working like a dog trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check,